إن الحمد لله أحمده وأستعينه وأستغفره وأستهديه وأعوذ بالله تعالى من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا. من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له، وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له، وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله أرسله بالحق بشيرا ونذيرا بين يدي الساعة. من يطع الله ورسوله فقد رشد، ومن يعص الله ورسوله فإنه لا يضر إلا نفسه ولا يضر الله شيئا. أما بعد، فإن أصدق الحديث كتاب الله، وخير الهدي هدي رسول الله، وشر الأمور محدثاتها، وكل محدثة بدعة، وكل بدعة ضلالة، وكل ضلالة في النار. يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله حق تقاته ولا تموتن إلا وأنتم مسلمون. يا أيها الناس اتقوا ربكم الذي خلقكم من نفس واحدة وخلق منها زوجها وبث منهما رجالا كثيرا ونساء، واتقوا الله الذي تساءلون به والأرحام إن الله كان عليكم رقيبا. يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله وقولوا قولا سديدا يصلح لكم أعمالكم ويغفر لكم ذنوبكم، ومن يطع الله ورسوله فقد فاز فوزا عظيما. وبعد. Inshallah, today is going to be part one of a series, and I think we should be done within 3 parts. So part 1, 2, and 3, inshallah ta'ala. And the discussion is going to be about the man's ultimate enemy, which is Shaitan. Now, although I must say that sometimes your enemy may be, Shaitan is indeed our biggest enemy, but sometimes it is a collaboration between Shaitan and some of our weaknesses that cause us to do whatever we do. And the objective of this series is not to find a scapegoat or to blame all of our issues on Shaitan, but rather it's just to understand the nature of this enemy of ours. And it's not, of course, to talk about Shaitan and make a big deal out of it, but rather to see what the Quran said about it. Allah the Almighty in the Quran says, إِنَّ الشَّيْطَانَ لَكُمْ عَدُوٌ فَاتَّخِذُوهُ عَدُوًّا. إِنَّ الشَّيْطَانَ لَكُمْ عَدُوٌ فَاتَّخِذُوهُ عَدُوًّا. That Shaitan is indeed an enemy of yours, so consider him an enemy. Right? And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala also tells us in the Quran, أَلَمْ أَعْهَدْ إِلَيْكُمْ يَا بَنِي آدَمَ أَلَّا تَعْبُدُوا الشَّيْطَانَ إِنَّهُ لَكُمْ عَدُوٌ مُبِينٌ. Right? Have I not advised, or have I not instructed you, O children of Adam, not to worship Shaitan, for he is indeed a clear enemy of yours. Clearly he is your enemy. It's self-evident. Right? And subhanAllah, not that it's a big problem, but we will see inshallah maybe in the coming parts of this series to what extent Shaitan has actually invaded our lives without us knowing. Right? And also, it may not be a serious phenomenon maybe in the Muslim community here in the West, but it's very strange when you see Satan worshippers, in the Middle East. You have youth, young people, Muslims, born in Muslim families, that actually go into worshipping Shaitan, Satanism. How did that? When you see people doing things, when you see men and women dealing or dabbling into witchcraft and black magic and all these things that are from the ways of Shaitan. When you see people really getting outraged and angry and pretty much allowing Shaitan full access to their emotion, and you see Shaitan getting his way, right? When you see an increase in divorce rate, it looks like we really don't fully comprehend the nature of this enemy, right? And we're not well aware of his presence and how to protect ourselves and our relationships from him. Now, I don't want to scare you for Shaitan's. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala describes the tricks of Shaitan, describes Shaitan and his ways as weak. إِنَّ كَيْدَ الشَّيْطَانِ كَانَ ضَعِيفًا. It is weak. The only time Shaitan actually can overpower someone is when that person is weaker. And it's like when your immune system is down, viruses and can get to you and make you sick. But if your immune system is strong, you're inshallah ta'ala protected. So who is this enemy and where did it start? And this is one of those series that I was trying to be, I didn't want to give too much information and get into, let's say, get into details that may not be very relevant. But nonetheless, the animosity started when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala declared, or when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala decreed to create a human being, the first of human beings, Adam alayhi salam. That's when that's what triggered this animosity. So Shaitan became pretty much jealous or envious of man, Adam alayhi salam, and his descendants. Now let us be clear on this. Shaitan's issue, although it was triggered and provoked by the creation of Adam and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala ordering Shaitan to prostrate, or ordering the angels to prostrate, right? But Adam alayhi salam, or human beings, are not responsible for Shaitan's nature. Because we're going to talk about this in the future. Satan is Satan. That's who he was. Sometimes people have these vices that are hidden. And in order for them to surface and come out, they have to be provoked. So when they're provoked, it shows. So Satan had ego and he had arrogance, right? And he had hatred. But all of that was suppressed, So when it was provoked, when he was tested, when it was provoked, it came out. That's what happened. So we can't say, Adam has nothing to do with it. Just like, by the way, Shaitan is not responsible for the action of man. Man is not responsible for the fate of Shaitan. Right? Okay. So who is he? Generally speaking, Shaitan is, and I'm basing this on the work of Shaykh Muhammad Sha'rawi rahimahullah. So he says that generally speaking, Shaitan is anything or anyone that brings people away from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, or from the obedience of Allah. And it actually means something that has drifted away, or something that is far, that is something that has become remote, right? Away from. And Shaitan, could, we're talking about, by the way, we're talking about a very specific figure, or a specific creature, right? Generally speaking, the word Shaitan itself means someone who is, a good translation would be devil, right? Someone of devilish nature, someone that deviates from the truth, and is far away from it. So, but the Shaitan that we're talking about is not this general concept of evil, devil. It's not. We're talking about someone specific. His name in the Quran is Iblis. Iblis, for he has given up on the mercy of Allah. He has fallen into despair from the mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala because he rebelled and he did not repent. Although there is a debate among some scholars as to what the nature of Shaitan is, في خلاف صح الشيطان هل هو من الجن أو من الملائكة. Yeah. But the opinion that I feel very comfortable with is that Shaitan is actually, Iblis is, in terms of his creation, he is from the jinn. And there's a very explicit verse in the Quran. Now again, there are some scholars of Ahlul Sunnah wal Jama'ah, there are some scholars who believe that no, he was an angel. He was an angel. Then he became a devil. Now it's my belief that he was actually a jinn to begin with. And jinn are different creation. They're different from the angels. It's a different So Shaitan, this creature, was of the jinn. What's the difference between jinn and angels? Anyone? Yeah. Angels are older than the jinns? All good, okay. But in terms of not only in terms of their qualities or traits, but in terms of their nature. What's that? One is good, one is bad. Okay. No, jinns actually could be good too. Jinns could be good or bad. Angels are always good. Jinns, you didn't know that jinns could be good? Yeah, okay. Yes. Yes. There are two different species. Let's assert that. Okay. Yeah, maybe my question is not clear. Okay. Now, okay. The origin of their creation is different. Allah created the angels from light. Someone might say, oh, angels are light. No, they're not necessarily light, but they're created from light. How and what? We don't know. We didn't even witness our own creation, let alone the creation of the jinns or the angels. Allah says, مَا أَشْهَدْتُمْ خَلْقَ السَّمَاوَاتِ وَالْأَرْضِ وَلَا خَلْقَ أَنفُسِهِمْ. We didn't even witness our own creation. There's a reason. Okay. So just like human beings were created out of clay and evolved into who we are now today, right? Likewise, angels were originally created. The substance, the original substance of their creation is light. Where devils, the substance of their creation is fire. Two different things. Fire. Angels, and I don't want to get into whether they have free will or not. Angels are, they have good inclination only. Right? They don't have evil tendencies. They don't have the tendency to rebel. They don't have desires, and they don't have lust, and they don't have needs, so they don't eat and drink like we do. Where jinns are like human beings, they do have free will, they have tendency to do good or bad, although most of the time they're kind of due to some of the power that they possess or some of the qualities, some of the unique qualities that they have, they're more, they have tendency to be on the evil side. But generally speaking, they have the ability to choose between good and bad, right? And there is plenty of evidence that they actually eat, drink. Now there are some similarities. The fact that they're in different realms, both the angels and the jinn, two different, right? They can see us, we can't see them. They're in a different dimension than our dimension. Right? And maybe their dimension is superior to our dimension. And that's why they can see us, but we can't see them. Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says that in the Quran clearly, إِنَّهُ يَرَاكُمْ هُوَ وَقَبِيلُهُ مِنْ حَيْثُ لَا تَرَوْنَهُمْ. Right? And they possess all kinds of qualities. I don't want to get into the details of what kind of qualities they have. But generally speaking, Shaitan is one of them. Shaitan is one of them, and he had high status amongst the ranks of the angels. He used to he used to live or be in the ranks of the angels. Although he wasn't an angel, right? Then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala made that order, that commandment. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala ordered Shaitan ordered the angels to prostrate for Adam. Right? Everybody did, all the angels obeyed that. Right? And since Shaitan was in the ranks of the angels, when the order was given to the angels, he should have actually prostrated with them. Or at least if he didn't know, or if he didn't think that the commandment was directed to him, he should have said, well, I was not ordered, you just ordered the angels. But he actually didn't. Allah says in the Quran, فَسَجَدُوا. The angels prostrated, all of them. إِلَّا إِبْلِيسِ. Except Iblis. كَانَ مِنَ الْجِنِّ. He was of the jinn. فَفَسَقَ عَنْ أَمْرِ رَبِّهِ. And he deviated, or he rebelled against the commandment of his Lord. Right? His justification was, Shaitan tried to justify his rebellion. And he said, when Allah told him, when Allah says to Shaitan, قال يا إبليس ما منعك ألا تكون من الساجدين ما منعك أن تسجد لما خلقت بيدي. So Allah said, why didn't you prostrate for that which I have created with my own hands? Why weren't you one of those who prostrated? He responded and he justified his action by saying, قال أنا خير منه, I am better than him. Why should I prostrate to Adam when I am better than him? I'm superior to him. خلقتني من نار, you created me, and this is the evidence, you created me from fire, وخلقته من طين, and you created him from clay, from dust. So he thought that fire, right? You know, you have water, air, fire, and what else? Dirt. These are the four elements. Huh? Soil. So to him, fire is superior to all of them, right? Because when you create something out of clay, what do you do to strengthen it? You bake it. You bake it and fire. So it strengthens it, right? And also fire has its very destructive power. So it can destroy or eat up anything. Somehow he made justified that to himself. By the way, who knows what is superior to what? Except Allah. Right? Because if we have fire and if we have water, water could say, oh, I'm superior to fire because I can put out fire. Fire can come and say, oh, wait a minute. I can boil you and then turn you into steam. That's it. Right? I mean, and this is a great lesson. You know, anytime you as a human being feel like you are superior to someone else, right? Then you are actually adopting a satanic quality. That's the way Shaitan thinks. And in fact, I was hoping, inshallah, maybe I'll get Shaykh Yasir Fazaqa to come one day and do a psychoanalysis of Shaitan's personality. Because it's very strange, it's very weird, because when you read, some of the psychoanalysis of Shaitan, what his personality, some of the complexes that Shaitan has, he's deeply disturbed, right? And you get shocked as to how many times we may actually behave like, and you wonder whether that is our nature or that is something that is inspired by him. And that's why we have to be very careful. We have to be aware. So he said, I am better, superior, and so Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said no. I mean, where did you get that from? Right? And instead of repenting at that point when he found out, not that he didn't know, he should have said, I'm sorry, I apologize, forgive me, Lord. He said, قال فبما أغويتني لأقعدن لهم صراطك المستقيم. So he said, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, قال فاخرج منها فما يكون لك أن تتكبر فيها. He said, then you need to leave heaven, for you cannot be arrogant. In heaven there is no place for arrogant people, humility. There is only one to whom belongs glory and majesty, and that is Allah. No one can be. In heaven you have to behave and have this very humble attitude. You have to have humility. And since this does not reflect any humility, you need to leave. You're going to leave. Did he repent at that point and say, no, God, oh Lord, don't let me go? No, he said, okay, if that's the case, then he said, قَالَ أَنظِرْنِي إِلَى يَوْمِ يُبْعَثُونَ. Then make me immortal. Give me life until the day of resurrection. I will show you that Adam and his descendants are not worthy of any of this. And I will show you who they are. In Surah Al-A'raf, Allah says, قَالَ فَبِمَا أَغْوَيْتَنِي لَأَقْعُدَنَّ لَهُمْ صِرَاطَكَ الْمُسْتَقِيمِ. That as you have, and look, he's not taking any responsibility. He's saying, because now you caused me to deviate, Now he's blaming Allah for it. And instead of saying, oh, I deviated, now he's not taking any responsibility whatsoever. From the beginning, from day one, he's actually rejecting any responsibility. As much as we like to blame Shaitan for our actions, by the way, Shaitan does not believe that he is responsible for any of our actions. And he's going to make that very clear. At the end, I'm going to share with you an ayah. Right? So, and then he made his agenda very clear. لَأَقْعُدَنَّ لَهُمْ صِرَاطَكَ الْمُسْتَقِيمِ I will actually get in the way of your straight path, oh Allah. I'm going to get in the way, and I am going to distract them. I'm going to be right there, leading them in every direction. And I am going to come at them from every direction. ثُمَّ لَآتِيَنَّهُمْ مِنْ بَيْنِ أَيْدِيهِمْ وَمِنْ خَلْفِهِمْ وَعَنْ أَيْمَانِهِمْ وَعَنْ شَمَائِلِهِمْ وَلَا تَجِدُ أَكْثَرَهُمْ شَاكِرِينَ You will find most of them not to be grateful. I shall come, he says, I shall come from every direction, from in front of them, from behind them, from their left, from their right. I'm going to come from every direction. And you will not find most of them to be grateful, most of them. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala of course he cannot come from the top because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. No. Now, Shaitan, oh by the way, bear in mind that Shaitan addressed Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala as what? Very interesting. قال Rabbi. He addressed Allah as Rabbi, my Lord. So even Shaitan knows that God is his Lord, is the Lord. By the way, also, he didn't say my God. He didn't say God. He didn't say Ilahi. Why? Because Allah is the Lord of everything and everyone. He is the Lord of the whole of the heavens and earth. He's the Lord of all creation. And everybody submits to this fact. Even those, by the way, who reject that, even those who do not recognize Allah's existence, He's still their Lord. Whether they like it or not, whether they confess or not. Even atheists. Right? Because isn't it funny sometimes when atheists actually debate about God and they reject Allah and they have this anger against God? I'm like, how could you have anger against something that doesn't exist? If God doesn't exist, why are you angry with God? You know, like that question that they ask, how could a loving God do this to people? I'm like, He doesn't exist in your mind, so why do you bother? So, if He doesn't exist, why are we even debating? If He exists and you're upset, and you want me to explain to you why, then that's a different story. But He does exist, doesn't He? No, He doesn't exist. Okay, khalas, why bother? Why are you upset? And that's why I don't believe that there's a true atheist. It doesn't exist. God's existence, Allah as a Lord, is self-evident. Self-evident. You know, I remember one time having this discussion with someone that initially claimed to be an atheist from East Germany, a young college, graduate. So I said to her, wait a minute, the discussion led to the fact that there is a God, but she does not believe anyone knows who that God is. From the fact that God doesn't exist, we reach to the point that God exists. But nobody has access to that God. Or that God has just created us and left us. So I told her, now if God exists, do you really think that He's just going to let us like this? Well, yeah, it doesn't make sense. Okay, He must have told us what to do. Do you want to know where we can find that? And that's where it became very scary. That means, it's very convenient, by the way, just to deny His existence. Oh, He doesn't exist. It's like when someone does not want to be responsible, let's say for his family, and that person becomes so careless and he neglects his family, or maybe walks away, deserts his family, his children and his wife, or right? They don't want to think about family, so they pretend like they don't exist, but in reality they do exist. But if they think about the existence of the family and then they have to take care of them. They have a responsibility. And that's why they don't want to. It is part of, it's a satanic actually also added to it, to rebel against authority. to rebel against authority. Right? So in the case of Shaitan, he says, he didn't say Ilahi because he's not worshipping. Now he's committing kufr, he's rejecting. Because if you say Ilahi, then you have to basically behave like it. God is someone that you actually take as a deity and that you actually worship or obey. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, فَهْبِطْ مِنْهَا, leave. Shaitan asked Allah, he begged Allah to what? Prolong his life. And Allah granted him that. ملحظ جميلة. قال لقد استجاب الله دعاءه وهو المطرود من رحمته. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala actually, Shaitan said, let me live a long life. In this life. Not in akhirah, eternal life. Or let me live a long life in this life. And Allah granted him that. Why? Because dunya is worthless. Yani, those of us who say, oh, is Allah going to answer my dua? If you desperately and genuinely desire something from Allah and you beg of Him and ask Him, you think He's not going to give it to you? If Satan asked Allah for something and he gave it to him, he said, I want to live for until the end of time. He said, okay, you live. God is gracious. He is great. And sometimes we think, well, what are the things that sometimes make us fall into a state of despair and say, oh, God is not going to answer my dua. Why? Why? Because He doesn't have enough for everybody? No, He has plenty. He has plenty. Okay, why? Oh, my sins are greater than the mercy of God? You think your sins are going to offend God, or your sins are too great that if you ask for forgiveness, God is not going to forgive you? Sometimes we think of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala from a human point of view. Human beings hold grudges. You go to a human being, you apologize, you come, sorry, forgive me. They're like, no. Why? We get hurt, we hold grudges, and right? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala doesn't hold grudges. He was well aware of the sin that you're going to commit or that you're committing way before you committed it. And He opens the gates of mercy for you. They're wide open. In the story of Iblis and Adam, we find that when Adam alayhi salam committed a sin out of weakness, and he repented to Allah, Allah gave him the opportunity to repent. Allah not only did He accept him and embrace him, but He even brought him closer. ثم تاب عليه في سورة طه ثم اشتباه ربه فتاب عليه وهدى. He even brought him closer. Right? Brought him even closer. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala answered the dua, and the scholars said that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala granted Iblis this because it was the decree of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It was a destiny. Satan prayed for something that was part of the destiny of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This was meant to happen. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sent human beings down to earth. Allah in the Quran, in the Surah Al-Baqarah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, قُلْنَا هَبِطُوا مِنْهَا جَمِيعًا. We said, all of you go down to this planet, earth. And by the way, it's worthy to be noted that earth at this point has already gone through all kinds of phases. And in the Islamic tradition, by the way, this is something very unique in the Islamic tradition. We don't believe that earth is as old as man. In fact, you can even find evidence in the Bible or in the Old Testament. If God created Adam from the soil of this planet, that means this planet pre-existed. Was there before Adam. Right? So we don't believe that earth is only 5,000 years, or that God created earth specifically just for Adam to come. We believe that there could have been actually life on this planet before Adam. So when someone comes and talks about evolution and talks about other, creation, yeah, perhaps there were other creation, but it's not necessarily that we as human beings, our species, did not evolve from those creations, but the one who created them created us. So if there's any resemblance in terms of DNA or in terms of some of the traits that we have, yeah, the one who created those creatures and those species created us. So what's the big deal? What's the big deal? Right? But us as human beings, our creation started with Adam. We did not evolve from something else. right? Someone might say, oh, wait a minute, but do you believe in evolution within the same race or within the same human race? I'm talking about, because we're all one race at the end of the day. Do you believe? There could be, yeah. That's why we have differences, variations of colors and features and all of that. We're not like some other, we're not like, let's say, chimps, or we're not like horses. We don't know. You know, there's variation. You know. Right? And this is recorded in the Quran. This is from the beauty of the Quran. You will not find anything in the Quran that is contradicting to any scientific fact in terms of the creation. Right? So Adam and Eve came down, that although they were created from the substance of this planet, they were not existing on this planet, and then they came down to this planet. Right? And Allah says, مِنْهَا خَلَقْنَاكُمْ وَفِيهَا نُعِيدُكُمْ. To it we return you. At the time of death, we are supposed to be buried. وَمِنْهَا نُخْرِجُكُمْ تَارَةً أُخْرَى. And from it we bring you out again. Okay. And then the struggle between Shaitan and human beings started on this planet. Now Adam learned the lesson from what happened in Jannah. Right? But although in Jannah Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said to Adam and Eve, إِنَّ هَذَا عَدُوٌّ لَكَ وَلِزَوْجِكَ. He is indeed an enemy for you and your wife. Be careful, be well aware of him, and don't let him lead you out of this place. Adam, you and Eve you and Hawa have access to everything in Jannah. Everything is okay. Nothing. The only thing is, one tree is off limit. It means either one specific tree, one particular tree, or one type of tree. We don't know. It could be one specific type of tree. That tree and its fruits, off limit. Don't come near them. Someone might say, what tree is it? We don't know. Some people say apple. You know Adam's apple? It's ridiculous. We don't know. We don't know what it was. I personally believe that it was an apple. Because if the apple was haram in Jannah, it would have been haram in dunya. But we don't know. So we don't know what tree it is. It's some tree. Adam was told not to come near that tree. Shaitan preyed on an aspect within human nature, curiosity, and he came to Adam and tempted him. وَقَاسَمَهُمَا إِنِّي لَكُمَا. He actually made an oath. He was swearing by Allah that this is good and try it and all that. Also, and from an Islamic tradition, we do not believe that Satan tempted Eve and then Eve went and convinced Adam, and therefore Eve is responsible for Adam's sin, and therefore women are cursed. That's un-Islamic. Did you know this, sisters? It's not true. How did you have? Right? It's not. So women are, in fact, the Quran clearly states that Adam was responsible for his own sin. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, فَعَصَى آدَمُ رَبَّهُ. So, if anything, the Quran actually puts the blame on Adam, doesn't put it on Hawa. In another place, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala blames them both. Each one is responsible for his own actions. And anything else that some traditions claim that women are, because of that, God punished them, no, it's not true. And also another point that is worthy of to be noted here is that we do not inherit the sin, the original sin concept. So in fact, each one of us, each human being is born sinless. The sin of Adam does not transfer. It does not transfer. Just like being the son of a prophet doesn't make you a prophet. Being a son of a pious person doesn't make you pious. Being a son or a child or a daughter of a wicked person doesn't make you wicked. Every human being is responsible for his or her own action. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَأَلَّيْسَ لِلْإِنسَانِ إِلَّا مَا سَعَى, or وَلَا تَزِرُ وَازِرَةٌ وِزْرَ أُخْرَى. That, no one's sin affects anyone else in terms of burden. You are not burdened by your parents' sins. Everyone is responsible for their own actions. Nonetheless, Shaitan made this oath. Bear in mind that Shaitan means what he says. And who is he talking to? God. In fact, at one point he swears by God. He says, قَالَ فَبِعِزَّتِكَ. He's swearing by the glory of God. He said, by your glory, O God. يعني look at the audacity of Iblis. He said, فَبِعِزَّتِكَ لَأُغْوِيَنَّهُمْ أَجْمَعِينَ. I will distract, I will tempt each and every single one of them. And then he made an exception. إِلَّا عِبَادَكَ مِنْهُمُ الْمُخْلَصِينَ. He said, except the sincere ones from amongst them. Even Shaitan knows he has limited access. There is a group of people that he cannot get to. In another ayah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told him, no. There are some special servants of mine that you will never be able to affect. In fact, Shaitan has no effect on human beings whatsoever. And we'll talk about that soon. For Allah says that he had no authority over anyone. إِنَّمَا سُلْطَانُهُ عَلَى الَّذِينَ يَتَوَلَّوْنَهُ وَالَّذِينَ هُمْ بِهِ مُشْرِكُونَ. Satan can only have authority or power over anyone if they give him that power. If they allow that. Right? At the end, an ayah that we're going to come back and revisit again. وَقَالَ الشَّيْطَانُ لَمَّا قُضِيَ الْأَمْرُ. At the end of Surah Ibrahim. Right? Surah Ibrahim. No. وَقَالَ الشَّيْطَانُ, not the end of Surah Ibrahim, 2 pages before the end. When the Shaitan said when the matter is settled, إِنَّ اللَّهَ وَعَدَكُمْ وَعْدَ الْحَقِّ. Allah has promised you the truth. وَوَعَدْتُكُمْ فَأَخْلَفْتُكُمْ. I promised you, but I break my promises. Right? Then he says, and this is key for those people who always blame Shaitan. Because sometimes I have people saying, yeah, Shaykh, oh my God, you can't believe what happened. I'm like, okay, what happened? It's like, I divorced my wife. La hawla. Why did you do that? Well, it's Shaitan. Or, yeah, Shaykh, you don't believe what happened. I did this and this is to my husband. Sister, why would you do that to your husband? You know, it's Shaitan. Your husband is Shaitan? No. It's the Shaitan that made me do that. Shaitan says, وَمَا كَانَ لِي عَلَيْكُمْ مِنْ سُلْطَانٍ. I had no authority over you. إِلَّا أَنْ دَعَوْتُكُمْ فَاسْتَجَبْتُمْ لِي. Except that I tempted you, I provoked you, I tempted you, فَاسْتَجَبْتُمْ لِي, and you answered me, you responded to me. فَلَا تَلُمُونِي وَلُومُوا أَنفُسَكُمْ. So blame me not and blame yourselves. Why are you blaming me? Right? Okay, so what is Shaitan's biggest loss was, of course, he is yet to see the consequences of his actions later. But Shaitan, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, قَالَ خُرُجْ مِنْهَا مَذْءُومًا مَدْحُورًا. Shaitan left cursed and humiliated. Right? لَمَنْ تَبِعَكَ مِنْهُمْ. Any one of them who will follow you after they have been warned. Right? If they decide to follow you, worship you, listen to you, لَأَمْلَأَنَّ جَهَنَّمَ مِنْكُمْ أَجْمَعِينَ. You will all indeed fill up hellfire. I will fill up hellfire of you and those of them who will end up following you. And of course, those who reject and resist will go back to Jannah. In fact, they will go to a better place. Okay. So what is now Shaitan's number one or top priority that he has mastered over centuries, right? Over these centuries, is how to cause man, or of course women, how to cause human beings to deviate from the path of Allah. And by the way, Shaitan doesn't care. He will do it at different levels. Of course, his ultimate goal is to have human beings reject Allah altogether and rebel against Allah. And if they don't reject Allah altogether, worship someone else other than Allah. And if they don't do that, it's all at the same level, by the way. This is the greatest sin ever, shirk. If they don't totally reject Allah or worship someone else besides Allah, worship someone else along with Allah. So they worship Allah, but they also worship something else besides Allah, or someone else. And I think Dr. Imad has spoken about this, the concept of shirk and how associating partners with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This is all of the same level. And he doesn't care who that other object or thing is. It could be an idol, it could be a person, it could be a prophet, it could be an imam, it could be a sheikh, it could be a righteous person, it could be a man, it could be a woman, it could be anything. It could be someone's, well, usually people don't worship the desire in and of itself as but it could be any figure. In fact, he succeeded, I feel awkward saying succeeded. I'll close with this example. The first group of idols that were worshipped, right? This is before the time of Noah. وَقَالُوا لَا تَذَرُنَّ آلِهَتَكُمْ. The people of Noah said, don't abandon your Lord or your gods. Your gods. Yani look at the audacity. Gods. How many gods? Multiple gods and deities. How could you call them God? I mean, when you ask someone, who created you? They will say, Allah. He's the Lord. He created me. How many gods do you have? They used to say multiple gods. But how could one create you, then you end up worshipping multiple deities? Where did that come from? وَقَالُوا لَا. They said, no, this is our tradition. Paganism. This is our tradition. وَقَالُوا لَا تَذَرُنَّ آلِهَتَكُمْ وَلَا تَذَرُنَّ وَدًّا وَلَا سُوَاعًا وَلَا يَغُوثَ وَيَعُوقَ وَنَسْرًا. They named 5 gods. They used to have 5 gods. Where did those gods come from? Guess what? Those names are names of actual human beings. In fact, righteous human beings, good human beings, people that they gave sainthood to. They considered them to be saints. They were righteous people, right? And when they died, what they did is they wanted to basically show respect to them and keep their memory. So what they did is they decided to, Shaitan came and tempted them to build upon their graves tombs for them. And then they were told, they thought it was a good idea. You know how like sometimes people like to get creative? You see, creativity is good. Creativity is good when you are trying to, when you're making salad. Yeah, that's good. Creativity is good with your cuisine, with, that's fine. You want to mix up spices, you want to come up with a new combination of them. So you can get creative with that if you want to. Right? But when it comes to deen, worshipping Allah, your relationship, the most important, the most critical aspect of our existence, you can't get creative there. Because Allah told us how to worship Him and what it takes. They got a little creative. So they thought. Shaitan came to them and said, why don't you just build images? Or why don't you just carve images? Because people are going to forget what this saint, what this great man looked like. So therefore, put his face, right? Carve his face on the grave so we can tell them apart. Okay, they created an image. The next generation or the same generation after a while, well, since they used to be amongst us and whenever something of great significance happened, we used to gather around them. Why don't we gather at their grave? Eventually, they ended up worshipping them. Initially, they used to ask God to bless them by the virtue of these people, by the virtue of these individuals. Later, they started talking to them. They said, oh, God He's so good, so perfect, and we are so full of sins, and we have all these deficiencies, and these are human beings like us. They understand, they can relate to us, they know where we're coming from. So therefore, if we appeal, if we just beg them to ask God on our behalf, yani connection, intermediaries. That's how Shaitan got to them. And they thought it was a great idea. Okay, so they started asking them to ask God on their behalf. And they ended up worshipping them. That's how it goes. And by the way, if someone comes and says, oh, what are you talking about? I have witnessed this myself. I have seen this myself. And if anyone comes and says, no, you're making a big deal, wallahi, it's a lie. We have to be honest. How many times has anyone, let me see if I'm the only one, have you yourself directly heard someone pray to someone other than Allah and ask them to ask Allah or ask them to bless them or to do anything for them? Have you heard that? No, I'm talking about ordinary Muslims sometimes. Or even sometimes other than Muslims. What about other than Muslims? No, I'm talking about directly someone asking other. How about, oh Mother of God? Oh Holy Mother of God or whatever. When people ask Mary, that's what it is. Or ask Jesus. Or if someone asks Prophet Muhammad. So, and I have heard this and seen it with my own eyes, and I've heard people pray to human beings and ask them to bless them. Or ask them to ask God on their behalf. Our religion, That's what Prophet Muhammad came to liberate us from. And say, you know what, you worship and pray to God directly. You worship and pray to God directly. Everyone has the potential to be righteous and to be pious. And to be a special servant of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Everyone. So Satan basically tempted them, and that's how they deviated. So that's his ultimate goal. And then if he cannot accomplish that, he will settle for anything less, and he has like a list, a priority list, or he has like a plan. So get the person to commit major sins, get this, get that, distract him, distract her from this, have them mix up their priorities, anything. Right? In fact, one of those things that Shaitan loves to do is breakups. Destroy and end relationships. Breakups. Right. So I'm going to, inshallah, stop right here. If there's any questions, comments, or suggestions, or objections, please feel free, inshallah. No one is considered a follower of Shaitan until they follow him all the way. Meaning those who continue to follow him until they enter hellfire with him. But of course, anyone of us could be tempted, or could be overcome, or could be, so it doesn't mean that someone who slipped once or twice, or someone who's struggling against, it means someone who either fully and totally submits to Shaitan and follows him, or worships Shaitan, or someone who constantly does that, so much so that they pretty much die upon wickedness. So it doesn't mean just someone that just made a mistake once or twice or 3 times or multiple times, but they always repent and they're always struggling. In fact, that should, many of us, we belong to that category, right? In fact, that's what makes you special. And by the way, that is what frustrates Shaitan. There's one hadith where the Prophet ﷺ talks about Shaitan sending his army of devils all over. Because everyone, when we're born, so they're all over the place, right? Now, I don't want to scare you, I don't want you to think that, but they're always whispering, right? And we'll talk about that. How does Shaitan, how does his work, how does it function? How does it work? How does it affect us, inshallah, in part 2. But in one hadith, we are told that when Satan's army or soldiers come back reporting to him what they have accomplished, they have like progress report, right? They go back, check in with him. They tell him things like, oh, I made him do this, I made her do that, I made it. And I'm not trying to minimize those things. Sins are sins, and we should be careful. But oh, I made him drink, I made him fornicate, I made him lie. Satan will tell him, oh, okay, when he gets sober, he's going to regret that and he's going to repent, and that will undo everything that you did. No big deal. He doesn't think that. Until one of them comes and says, I kept pushing him or her until they got divorced. And he tells that person, come here. You're the man. You sit next to me. He promotes that one. That's why I said Shaitan rejoices over breakups. Why? The destruction of the family means destruction of the society. It means that person has, it's that kind of breakup will not only, it will ruin the person. That individual, whether, both parties and everyone who's involved. And that's why, it is something celebrated by Shaitan. And that is why it's something that is hated by Allah. And one should not consider it or resort to it unless it's the last resort. And unless it's the lesser of the two evils. But it's something that he rejoices over. In fact, Shaitan sometimes pushes members of a household or people who are involved in a relationship, right? Or people who are married. He pushes them to do things that will cause breakup, right? Things that one may not be able to tolerate. Because this is one of the things that he looks forward to. طيب.